Easy LLC is a year-old company located in Burlington, Vermont. It was founded by a small team of engineering faculty and students from the University of Vermont, with support from the National Federation of the Blind, UVM Ventures, the UVM Tech Transfer Office, and the Vermont Center for Emerging Technologies. Easy's line of new products is devoted to expanding the use of tactile graphics by the blind and visually impaired. We expect that access to freehand graphical expression and interactive communication of graphics will alter the educational and professional achievements of blind and visually impaired individuals of all ages. Easy's tactile focus began in 2009 with a series of engineering senior design projects. We are grateful to NFB's Jernigan Institute for sponsoring these projects and to our friend and mentor Al Manecki. EASY is an acronym for Engineering to Assist and Support You, a name that summarizes our product development hopes and plans. I'm Mike Rosen, EASY's CEO. The other two founders are Mike Coleman, like me a faculty member in engineering at UVM, and Josh Coffey, a UVM graduate who was one of our students on the Tactile Graphics project teams. The Intact Eraser is a small handheld device that allows users to flatten segments of raised line graphics quickly, easily, and repeatedly, and draw over the erasers. The Intact Eraser is designed to work with available tactile graphics kits, such as the Draftsman sold by the American Printing House for the Blind. It is essentially a spot iron, erasing raised lines on the standard plastic drawing sheets through light pressure and heat. Over 3 hours of continuous erasing battery power, much more if the eraser is turned off when not in use, allows it to be taken anywhere a standard raised line graphics product is used. This example video shows a user drawing a square on the Draftsman. After completing the square, the user erases, in other words flattens, 2 raised lines that meet at a corner of the square. The video shows the heated tip of the eraser being moved back and forth across these raised lines, ironing the small blisters that comprise them. In a matter of seconds, this corner is distinctly flat to the touch. While a sighted user can still see a white trace of the line on the plastic, the small blisters comprising the raised lines are completely gone, feeling the same to the user as an unused section of the drawing sheet. The video ends with the user redrawing the erased corner of the square, creating new raised lines over the same path as the recently erased lines. Users of the Intact Eraser will no longer be inhibited by fear of making mistakes and wasting plastic sheets. Blind artists, engineers, architects, programmers, gardeners, or mathematicians, to name just a few examples, can persist in creating the tactile images they are aiming for without the repeated burden of starting over after mistakes. The desire to correct or update isn't a setback, but rather an opportunity to try again and gain new results and insights. Later in 2013, Easy will bring to market the Intact Digital Tactile Tablet. It will resemble existing raised line drawing tablets, such as the Draftsman, and use standard plastic sheets as the drawing medium. The dramatic difference will be that as the user sketches, with raised lines providing continuous tactile feedback, the Intact Digital Tactile Tablet also creates permanent digital copy, available to be shared with anybody, anywhere, on any medium. The next segment is a demonstration of our working prototype in action. This video shows Mike Coleman, one of Easy's founders, demonstrating the prototype of our Intact Digital Tactile Tablet. It looks a bit like the Draftsman, but is integrated with a commercially available digitizer. With the usual plastic drawing sheet in place, Mike begins his freehand raised line sketch of a house. Mike is sighted. If he were blind, he'd be keeping track of his progress by touch. To demonstrate the immediate capture of Mike's tactile sketch as a computer file, the video shows his evolving drawing appearing on a monitor, keeping pace with the movements of his stylus. It is clear that the digital copy of his drawing is identical to the tactile original. There is no distortion or loss of detail. Every line of the door, windows, roof, and chimney is exactly represented in the computer. As Mike adds a tree, the sun with grade school style rays, and a wisp of smoke from the chimney, his sketch is completed. Later in this demonstration tape, the drawing is destined for a tactile reproduction using our Intact tactile printer. But the real-time image capture makes it clear that if Mike were a blind teacher with a room full of sighted students, his lesson could be appearing on a projection screen in front of the class as he composes it. A vital complement to the intact digital tactile tablet would be a raised line printer, with which a user will be able to make any number of tactile copies, not only of freehand sketches prepared on our digital tactile tablet, but from any line graphic from any digital source. The next segment of this video demonstrates Easy's working prototype of exactly this innovative product, a tactile printer first shown at the NFB convention in July of 2012. Easy's plans call for bringing it to market in 2014. With this new tool, any digital image can be accessible, for example, at a blind student's fingertips in a matter of minutes. The printer mechanism, seen now on the screen, is straightforward. The graphics file controls two motors, one for X and one for Y, moving a stylus over the standard raised line drawing material to produce a tactile image in the same manner as the handheld stylus seen earlier in this video. In this segment, our image of a house, sketched earlier on the intact digital tactile tablet, is being reproduced by the intact tactile printer. As for the digitizing process, no perceptible distortion of the original sketch is introduced. In fact, the tactile robustness and uniformity of the lines are better than on the original. Because the intact tactile printer uses the same standard plastic sheets as the intact tablet, drawings made with the printer can be placed on the tablet and modified, creating updated hard copy and a new digital file. In the segment of the video now showing, the now familiar house is being further refined. This capability allows raised line drawings to be used as worksheets for blind students and evolving drafts for blind professionals. These tactile drawings are both output from and input to Easy's intact system, allowing truly interactive graphical communication. In the final printer segment of our video, a teacher, once again Mike Coleman is the model, is downloading a handy image from the internet. Once the image file is reformatted to drive the printer using Easy's software, it is reproduced as tactile hard copy without distortion. This example suggests that the intact tactile printer can make the abundance of professional, educational, and artistic images on the web accessible to the blind and visually impaired as raised line drawings. In the final segment of this video, we are very pleased to include some comments from Marty Woodman. Marty is a lecturer in the UVM School of Business Administration with a specialty in accounting. She has been blind for over a decade. Marty has been an indispensable neighborhood source of user feedback since our Tactile Graphics work began. As an enthusiastic user of several technologies for the blind and an academic who often thinks in graphs, Marty offers a particular critical perspective. In the video clips that follow, she narrates her drawing of a cost curve using our intact digital tactile tablet. She also reacts to the production of a faithful copy on the intact tactile printer and comments on the possible use of the tablet in real time in the classroom.
And first we'll have the y-axis and the x-axis, and economic theory draws production graphs, something like this. They go up at a decreasing rate and then at an increasing rate. Between the points of inflection, it's nearly a straight line. The computer-generated graph, it's doing exactly what I wanted to do, but because I didn't have as much pressure as consistent pressure, it's just so much clearer. It's beautiful. It's like somebody knew what they were doing and did it. No, it's really strong lines, very easy to feel, very easy to tell where the lines are and where the curve is and where the axes are. It's what I'd want to give to a blind student if I was trying to explain it to them.
So, Marty, what you just did to show us the curves you wanted to teach on a computer screen obviously could be done on a large projection screen in front of a classroom.
Yes.
So if you had a tactile tablet like this that digitized and a live display, is that something that you could use in the classroom?
It's not only, it's something that would be really nice to use in the classroom. And
Wonderful.
even when I have TAs in the classroom, this is very hard for me to describe to them to draw for me.